Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to my YouTube family. Welcome to my new followers. Getting the numbers up. Of course, it's not what I do it for, but thank you for subscribing, share, like, commenting. Just thanks for watching. You could be watching a million channels, you know. I wanted to start by sharing. What I want to share first is my sister's card. So we're gonna go here. Okay, I'm gonna go down here. And she probably is gonna be mad. This is my sister's channel, Crown Victorious Warrior. Yeah, these are her subscriptions. No, she's following the brother Uno. Teach me by saying, you know, these are her subscriptions. So we're gonna go back. I just want to show y'all a card that she created. Sometimes family can be hard on family. I'm very hard on her. As far as educating yourself. My belief is that when you are not educating yourself, then you are kind of stagnant. And that's why I stress, yeah, I guess my pajamas do say that, but don't pay that no attention. I stress ever learning, surrounding yourself with like-minded people. If you are around people that are causing drama or have a lot of drama going on, and everybody at some point has something going on in their lives, but if it's continuous, you get distracted. So I'm hard on my sister, like, needs to be sharing this information. So she made this card. Let's see, can y'all see that? Oh, jumps, perfect. Let's go in a little. She has the definition. Hold on, yeah. The definition of American on it. And she leaves these on the train, public transportation. It was very clever. Shout out to Crown Victorious Warrior. She has Ed's channel on there, Lexi's channel on there. She had Ed's old channel on there, but shout out to my sister, thinking outside the box. She leaves them everywhere. I told her to leave me some. I'm excited. I get excited about things like that. So I wanted to share that with you. I love you, boo. You know I do. Yeah, my sister's leaving me again. She's going back to Georgia for a minute. Had some family business to take care of. So, lift up prayers for her, that her travels are safe, you know, and that she returns. There's nothing like growth in your lives. I'm gonna go here. This is my Instagram. I'm gonna hide myself, y'all. I've just been sharing today. Sometimes I get kind of out of control. So, it's neither here nor there. This is just what I've been sharing. And yeah, you gotta be forever evolving. Let me go back because I didn't even see that. Yeah, well, anyway. This was something from somebody else's page. I shared the definition of American and also this. Oh.
Even he knows who you are. To provide a job to a refugee from overseas than to give that job to unemployed African American youth in cities like Detroit who have become become refugees in their own country.
Did y'all hear that?
To a refugee from overseas than to give that job to unemployed African American youth in cities like Detroit who have become refugees in their own country.
Right. This one.
Himself in exile in his own land. The Negro is still languished in the corners of American society. And finds himself in exile in his own land. Whether or not civilizations can be considered as such equal, or whether one civilization has the right to overtake. What's the truth? Y'all listen. So the Gary Cooper killing off the Indians, when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, but the Indians were you.
Why?
It was a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians, when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, but the Indians were you. Everybody else has not pledged allegiance to you. It comes as a great shock to discover that Gary Cooper killing off the Indians, when you were rooting for Gary Cooper, but the Indians were you.
All right. Y'all go over and follow me on Instagram, Styles by Nina LLC. Just spreading this indigenous truth. Y'all share, like, comment, repost, please. Now, of course, like I said, welcome to the newcomers. Don't forget to share and like, and let's go over to my Twitter. What I'm doing here is just sharing some of the stuff that I watched today. Watched yesterday. The day before that. The day before that. The day before that. Yeah. So I just share on my Twitter. Y'all go over to Twitter and follow me. I am Urban Intellectual at Styles by Nina. I love this, but I'm gonna have to change it. Another thing that was on my mind. Yeah, so much has come to me. Let's X out of there. Let's come over here. I found this. Let's see. Oh yeah, there it is. We've been on this Moor stuff, so we want to know what's the difference between a Moor and a Muur. So here we go. And what do you know? I didn't even see this. We're gonna watch that too. Let's go down here and read first. Moor is the ancient name for the original people of the earth, based on ancient teachings of the indigenous people of the Washita. Oh, this is how the real pronunciation. River Valley and its tributaries. The indigenous aboriginal people of this part of America recognize ourselves as Moors. Modern Western settlers in our land call us the Lost Race, the mound builders of Muur. Western history label us as Washita Indians and our indigenous family of the Caribbean islands as West Indians. But we all did not migrate here from the subcontinent of India. We are the indigenous mound builders of this land. And yes, we love and respect our ancient Indian family of the Ganges and Indus River Valley region, including the ancient Dravidians and indigenous Dalits. Copper colored warrior. She did a video on the Dravidians, who are still marginalized in a caste system that has been institutionalized since the colonial times, but is slowly eroding into justice for females and the darker people of ancient indigenous heritage. We are one people sharing one God with our indigenous brothers and sisters of Asia, Africa, Europe, Australia, and all the Pacific Islanders of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia. Our ancestors teach us that Mu, pronounced Mu, is the indigenous name for the land. Mu is all matter, maternal purpose, divine matrimony, living, increasing, viewable life, procreation, effort for more. We are Mu. The most ancient people called ourselves Moor, Mutu, and Muntu. One ancient word for the creator was Mungu. Mu is the root. Long before names like America, Africa, Asia, or Europe, the Aboriginal humans called the land Mu. We are Moors. The universal titles Mr. and Mrs. Madam, Et Mansu, Monsizur, Aru, and Mu. Mu, Ma, Mo, Mer, Ma, Mar, More, More, Moar, More. First thing we say each day is good morning. The ancestors teach about the respect more recent civilizations have for Mu, a Judeo-Christian symbol for Mu has been a golden calf or cow with a sun disk. We still see this demonstrated by the ancient use of cow as a sacred symbol and the important role cattle played in early commerce, marriage, dowries, and spiritual life. Even Abram, who later changed the name to Abraham, had Chaldean parents in the city of Ur who worshiped a sacred cow, Hathor. Later, and we know this is syncretism, like grabbing stuff from other cultures, but anyway. Later, when followers of Moses lost faith while in the wilderness, they returned to the worship of what? A golden cow. And still, the morning beverage of choice is, of course, mom's or cow's milk. The Washita have never worshipped any animals, planets, nor man. We have faith in the Almighty Creator of heaven and earth. We believe in one love, Moor. Today, we can find a myriad of variations and representations for the name Moor. More. Y'all get it, right? To all Moors, true and faithful, everyone on the planet has Moorish roots. We are all seeds of the original man, woman, God created on the planet in the valley of the mountain of the Moon. We know the Mississippi Valley, the Amazon, and the Nile Valley River Happy were once together parts of one land from Morocco and the Sahara to Mexico, from the wall of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli. It may take a few more years before the world is ready to accept the truth about our story, but the time has come to embrace the harmonies of life shared by each of us. Every history teaches the first people of the earth started in the Nile River Valley near the equator, the land of Mu. Our story is not a mystery. Give thanks. Okay. Let's see this.
My boy, the revolutionary.
Fellow Americans, it is with the utmost pride and sincerity that I present this recording as a living testament and recollection of history in the making during our generation.
The Brazilian finds show that the New World was discovered tens of thousands of years earlier than previously believed, and certainly well before the time of the American Indians.
Okay, y'all. I'm sure y'all have all seen this video. If not, it's not hard to find. It was a documentary did by someone. Now, what we're gonna do now, we type in more, because the last video I uploaded, I shared from Total Gang, said there are two types of Moors. So what I'm trying to do is find a definition, and this is a good one. A Moor, M-O-O-R, a member of a northwestern African Muslim people of mixed Berber and Arab descent, In the 8th century, they conquered Iberian Peninsula, but were finally driven out of their last stronghold in Granada at the end of the 15th century. Now what we're going to do over here, let's see what the etymology has to say. Waste ground, Old English moor, morass, swamp, from the Proto-Germanic moor, the source of also Old Saxon, Middle Dutch, Dutch, mere, swamp, Old High German, moor, swamp, also sea, German moor, Old Norse moor, moorland, marcy, perhaps related to mere, or from root mere to die, hence the dead land. We learned that Louisiana is a marsh land. The basic sense in place names is marsh, a kind of low-lying wetland possibly regarded as less fertile than marsh. The development of the senses dry heatland, barren upland is not fully accounted for, but may be due to the idea of infertility. To fasten by cable, borrowed to Moor, French Amar from Dutch. Moor, North African Berber, late 14th century, from Old French Moor, from medieval Latin Moors, from the Latin Mars, inhabitant of Mauritania, Northwest Africa, a region now corresponding northern Algeria and Morocco, from Greek Maurus, perhaps a native name, or else cognate with Maurus black, but this adjective only appears in late Greek and may as well be from the people's name as the reverse, being a dark people in relation to the Europeans. Their name in the Middle Ages was a synonym for Negro. Later, 16th century, 17th century, used indiscriminately of Muslims, Persians, Arabs, etc., but especially those in India. Okay. Now y'all see that. Now I'm gonna go here. Moo. Oh. Literally cut off, name given to the local adaptation of dresses given to the island women by early 19th century Christian missionaries in the early days, when a few flowers sufficed for a garment. Native style hangs from the shoulder and omits the high neck and the train. Ladies, you've heard of it. You gotta move on. People make fun. It's like culture. Okay. Let's try move. Oh, I'm so sorry. I did not mean to yarn all ghetto like that. It wasn't really ghetto, but you know. Yeah, I'm really sleepy. I just want to share this with y'all. And printing, originally the square corresponding in dimensions to the capital M of that type. And this is what you hear Taj Tariq Bey always saying: you need to stand on your square and claim your indigenous groups. Somebody did that. Y'all know I'm not really connecting the dots. This stuff just comes to me. And we're looking up more, and this is just M. The name of the letter M Greek name was Moor, imprinting originally the square corresponding dimensions of the type. He always says that. 13th letter from Greek Muur, from Semitic M, Roman symbol 4000, sometimes used in the sense English 15th century, 16th, but the late 20th century newspaper headlines as it stands for million as a thickness type from. Yeah, right. Okay, so I'm gonna go out there. What I want to do here, this is the video I just uploaded. I'm just going back and forth with my brothers. It's just chemtrails that they're spraying down on us. Thank you to all my new subscribers and those who are commenting. I appreciate it. Lets me know that you are there. Let's see who's uploaded something. I think Brother Legs just uploaded a video. So we're going to check that out together. Yep. Let's see.
Alright. I hope you guys are doing well. I'll talk about a few things. We have now covered the American Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And that is wonderful, all those things that they have on paper. But will they commit to those things? I guess that's the important part. So, now we're at the Great Divide, and I know some of you see it, and some of you don't understand. So, let's go into this paperwork and try to understand it a little bit, because we understand that we have to liberate ourselves in order to liberate others. Alright, so when we look at the American Declaration, it states that we have to self-identify. Now, ethnicity and race identification. Now, when we look at this, it asks a lot of questions, but our focus is going to be on American Indian, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintains tribal affiliations or community. If you look at how your plantations were set up and how your projects are set up today, they don't have much difference. When you understand that the description of the American Indian by Columbus and by Cortez, when you understand that in the 1700s, this is how they drew Montezuma. Oh, nice. That's what I need. There's the image. Oh, I love it. That's good. That's why I don't like Chrome. It's one big hassle. This is how they drew the image of Montezuma. Alright? That's the year this is floating around. Alright? When we look at Montezuma, You know that the true image that floated around to all the kings and queens was that. When you look at it in color and see the brown skin, then you know that you're the American Indian that these people came across. When you add dumb diversus into this, you know that Columbus and Cortez went up against these peoples, whether they be in Cuba or in Puerto Rico, wherever they found them. You've read the dumb diversus before. You don't need me to bring it up. And see how it says, snatch their asses up. They don't have a Christian king. So, I went today, and I applied all that I learned. Now, I decided not to choose Asian, even though there all the evidence that shows that we all landed on Mount Ararat, and that we grew from there and dispersed, and that there was a kingdom in the Indian subcontinent.
Sorry.
Our four children, Asian. Notice these all state persons having origins in the original peoples of. Notice this is why you don't have any say. This is why you don't count when it states black or African. It says a person having origins in any of the black racial groups of Africa. It does not state having origins in any of the original peoples. I've expressed to you many times, the people you see with dark skin that have afros are Afro-Asian. They are from Asia. They conquered Africa and some were placed there. Even this form shows you that you can only be part of racial groups there. You do not originate there. Now, here in the States, I don't think many Afro-Asians are going to attempt to call themselves Hawaiian natives. And here's another thing that I want to talk to you about. Now, I'm not going against anybody in their belief in how to fill this out. There are people that try to help people fill this out. They mean well. I do not feel that I need to support white power. Again, when we are talking about original peoples from groups and we are using the terms white and black, these are terms from the checkerboard, the Masonic checkerboard. And when you look at this angle on the checkerboard, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, Middle East, or North Africa. Now, when you look at North Africa, and you go onto YouTube, you can clearly see that the worst slave traders in the world are people that will trade people that look like them. And that's what they say about the people that are from North Africa. When you look at the Middle East, this is your Babylonian captivity. Why would I say I'm part of that? When you look at Europe, this is your financial slavery, where you're the slave, but you have to pay for your own supplies. As a slave owner pays for the clothes, the food, any education. As the corporation in the United States being the slave holder, the individual slave pays for his own food, his own lodging. So, I do not think that this has anything to do with me based on my principles. And when it says, are you of the original peoples of,
I do not have history in any of these places. Genetically, I know I have genetic history going back to one of the places that's Russia. But that's just one part of the bloodline, and these places are not highlighted here. So there's no. So I went to the Social Security office today. I had this form filled out, and then I had this form filled out as well. Now this is the Social Security Administration application card. I already have a Social Security card, and what I did was I wanted to change my race, right here, in race. Now, as you can see, the Native Hawaiian, Alaska Native, Asian, American Indian, Black, African American, White, or Pacific Islander. Okay, so again, I had American Indian checked off. Now, I'm going to tell you about my experience there. Again, this is a contract. When you make these contracts, you give them power over you in their society. Again, but most of you, if not all of you, already have this contract. All I did was change this to this. Now you can see, you can mark both. Select one or response is or more. Response is voluntary. You do not want to mark more than one. You did not come here on a boat. When you mark African American, you are playing this game that you came here on a boat. If you understand, is this how you want to hear it? If you overstand, there's no fucking boats, then you do not want to mark African American. The only boats that came here brought pilgrims on a pilgrimage. This is why they call it the Pilgrim Worm, because when they found the worms of the Bible, they named it the Pilgrim Worm, even though this worm is a locust that changes to a caterpillar. I mean, I'm sorry. It's a doozy. We'll get that another time. That's that lesson that M.W. Smith brought us, and it shows a lot. Alright, so nothing else on here really matters. So I decided I would go down today. I've been talking to people about this. A lot of us have been reading in little different groups and stuff, and a lot of us get to the point where, we're talking with each other, and it gets to, what are you going to do? 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 When are you going to do it? What are you going to do? And when are you going to do it? So I guess I finally broke down and said, I really want this. I've had enough. When I look at the UN Declaration, and I look at the United States saying that they don't quite respect it, and then Obama writes up a draft for the United States Declaration. Now it's on law, so it's time to activate these things for us. So I'm telling you, because it's one thing if I suggest 5,000 different things, but the step that I actually take is the cliff I'm leaping off of. And that's how a lot of people look at it, like it's a cliff you leap off. And I'll just say this, not to use a bunch of analogies or metaphors or anything like this, but like when you go to the beach and you don't sit there and say, oh, what part of it do I go in? You just pretty much set a towel down and you walk straight into the mass of it. So, you know, I don't give a shit about status. I care about heritage. This is what I've always told you. I think it's about heritage. Alright, so when you look at the General Declaration, the American Declaration, and they express that they are willing to do this and this for you and these things, then I suggest that or I took the steps to attempt to start making claims for these things.
Sorry.
There are American Indians out there. They live on reservations. They have casinos. This new declaration on indigenous peoples doesn't seem to be for them. It seems to be for a specific set of people that have not, had these rights before. So I suggest that we have the moment. We have this moment to live up to what we've been studying, our heritage. Our heritage depicts this. And if you looked at Teach Me to Be Priestly, it's shown that we are to be these seers of righteousness and to liberate these different peoples of all nations. I've expressed this to you. From what the scripture says, you're going to teach the world. You're going to heal the lame of the world. This is the unification of our tribes.
Okay, y'all, we 15 minutes in. I'm not going to run the whole video because it's 30 minutes and then, I have to add my commentary. But I did want to tell you that if you don't understand what he's talking about, he did do videos on what he's talking about. I'm just sharing information. And if you have any questions, watch these first. And you'll understand what this is. You cannot understand what this is without understanding. Don't be lazy. These aren't very long videos. Just go over and get the information. Now, my opinion on this. My opinion is, Brother Lex, y'all go over and follow Lex Will if you have not already. My opinion is, let's go to my soapbox. I'll make this opinion public. Okay, so this is how I feel. Out of everything we've heard, if there was a reason that I was going to change my race on this form, because I told y'all I printed the form out. This is serious business. And to show y'all my BS, and I'm just gonna show it to you. Y'all be looking at my arms and stuff. I'm a big girl. And I be gaining and losing weight. And right now, I'm losing weight. Woo, 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 woo. And when you lose weight, it be skin from. Don't hate. It's all me. And they will be over there. Y'all, hold on. Y'all gonna still be able to hear me, but I don't want to get all up bending and scratching. Okay. See, that's what I get for having too much stuff. Yeah. I printed out the form to give to my family. Now I have a little better understanding. I'm going to go ahead and mail them off. I need to find them first. Okay. Yesterday, I had them in my hand. I have no idea. Oh, there they go. Now I put all this stuff in the floor looking for this paper, y'all. It's crazy. Okay. I'm coming, y'all. Okay. Oh no. I pulled out all that stuff so fast. But I had to put it back because when I don't put it back right away, it just be out and that's too much ridiculousness. Okay. Anyway. Let's do it. This is House Resolution 194. When Brother Ed put this information up on his site, I went ahead and printed it off. So, at least on all Brother Ed's videos, gives me a better understanding. Yeah, I forgot the other one. Hold on. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all, it's a lot of sheets, but this is a better explanation of things because what we heard from the other brothers was, to me, didn't make sense. Why aren't these stapled? What's going on, y'all? Alright. Don't they know I'm trying to do a presentation to y'all? Okay. The papers didn't know clearly. This is also deformed. Like I said, my grandma had 16 kids, so this is something more doable that I can do right away. This it was a couple of forms that you have to fill out with it before you fax it. So I had printed those out because, like I said, I mailed one to Miss Mary Brown, and then I told people, no, if you need one, I'll mail it to you. But these are for my family, and I'm going to go ahead and say you need to just print out information. Do something for yourself. Ink costs money. Number one. But you're going to have to do something for yourself. There was also a fact sheet. I'm always bothering something. I gotta find the fact sheet. Long story short, it's legit, y'all. So, Brother Lex was saying this is something that's doable. Not in those words, but this is something that you can do right now. This doesn't require a whole lot, because keeping it real, we all supposed to have moved closer together, and we have not. I'll show this as well. Glad I didn't throw these away. This is also the fax number that you will mail to. Y'all freeze it. Y'all wanna mail it off. This is where you send it to. Like I said, this is more doable right now for me. We all were in the same boat. Well, I'm not saying we all, but most of us, we have families that we're on one thing and our families just aren't quite there. So that will require you to just up and walk away. And keeping it real, Keeping it honest. I'm sorry about shuffling the paper. I hope y'all can hear me. I just be talking and doing. It's nothing against y'all. Y'all get mad, just cut me off. Anyway, we all have family members that might not quite be there yet. And we have to know that we know that we know before we make drastic changes to our lives. Because we've all seen how this goes, you know. Let's see who else have dropped the video. But yeah, this is something doable, something achievable you can do right now. And it does not require a lot to do it. So y'all go and finish that video. Y'all want to check out some news? We're 45 minutes in. I need to unwrinkle my face, right? Let's do that.
The yeas are 68, the nays are 31. The nomination is confirmed. Majority Leader.
Senate not in order.
Some incredible video of what could be something from an action movie. Check it out. Wow, a truck in Louisiana taking flight literally as it veers off the road during a high-speed chase with police. It ended up landing on top of another car with someone inside. Now, the woman in the car says she saw it coming. She actually moved over as quickly as she could, and somehow she walked away just fine. The driver of the truck, as you would imagine, was eventually arrested.
Wow, what a story. They're all okay. Except for the guy behind bars. He's got some issues.
Je sais la pression qui s'exerce encore ici et je veux assurer qu'il n'y aura pas de nouveaux campements à Calais. C'est ce que je suis venu dire aussi à Madame le maire et aux élus. Et donc nous prenons toutes les dispositions pour cela, avec des places de CAO qui ont été créées, 10 000 dans notre pays, et qui devront rester. Tous ceux qui viennent à Calais doivent savoir qu'ils ne pourront pas y rester. Nous procéderons avec humanité, parce que c'est ce que nous avons fait avec le démantèlement, mais avec fermeté, à faire en sorte de les orienter, de les mettre à l'abri vers des centres qui seront éloignés de Calais.
Boston Dynamics introduced a new research robot today that they're calling Handle. It stands 6.5 feet tall. It can travel 9 miles per hour and jump 4 feet vertically using electric power to operate electric and hydraulic actuators. It also looks ready to participate in all-terrain extreme sports, roll easily down a flight of stairs, and it could definitely kill you if it wanted to. Boston Dynamics says Handle has a range of about 15 miles on one battery charge, but it's less complex than previous robots they've created with only 10 actuated joints. Now, we heard rumors of a new Boston Dynamics creation that would combine legs and wheels. Today, the company made their new creation public. In other words, it is live. It is definitely like a millennial
sound refreshing?
robot. Like it does.
Does
like,
it take selfies?
It probably does.
Oh, this is my favorite. This one's my favorite.
Yeah.
This makes me think this would be a really good breakdancing robot.
Is it resting on something, or it's just doing like it's like the exercise you do when you put your hands on a chair and you?
Yeah, it's simulating it. It can fix the points of the arms in the air and then move the rest of its body so that that fixed mid-air point stays stationary.
Right. I can totally pick up 100 pounds behind my back.
No big deal. Down the stairs. I love Boston Dynamics so much. I want to know what the future holds for Boston Dynamics because they're just doing incredible things with robotics. Every time they release a video, I'm captivated. But you know, we've talked in the past. See, it jumps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, these things are so cool.
If you like it so much, why don't you marry it?
Because I don't marry robots. Okay.
Welcome to Emirates NBD, where we invent the future of beauty.
The study looked at 23,000 pediatric cancer survivors from 1970 through 1999. While researchers believe that a patient's exposure to radiation therapy could lead to subsequent cancers, they weren't able to prove it until now.
And we saw these really beautiful reductions from the 1970s to the 1980s to the 1990s. It sort of was this aha moment, like we're on to something, you know, we're really on the right track.
That aha moment for Professor Lucy Turcotte was the realization that the move away from unnecessary radiation therapy for cancer patients was the right way to go.
It can cause second cancers, and that's particularly concerning. We've seen a number of individuals with breast cancers, thyroid cancers, skin cancers, really cancer anywhere in the body that's been exposed to radiation.
The study found that those diagnosed in the 70s had a 2.1% rate of subsequent cancers, while those diagnosed in the 90s had a 1.3% rate. Turcotte says that coincides with the decline in the percentage of pediatric patients receiving radiation therapy.
Our hope is to more clearly define which individuals absolutely need it, and if there's certain children that we can save from needing it.
Turcotte says the work is not over. They're looking at the impact of certain chemotherapy treatments and how they interact with radiation.
I think it's sort of a call to action that our work isn't done yet. There's still a lot of research and a lot of work to be done to further reduce the risks for these second cancers.
President Donald Trump's Executive Order 13769 placed limits on travel to the U.S. from certain foreign countries and by all refugees. The order, which has been called the Trump travel ban, was challenged by numerous lawsuits, resulting in a temporary restraining order that essentially blocked it. But now Trump is at it again, crafting an entirely new ban, which will remove Iraq from the list of countries whose citizens face travel restrictions. Reports say the latest draft is expected to be signed by the president in the coming days, and according to the Associated Press, the decision follows pressure from Pentagon and State Department officials who have urged the White House to reconsider Iraq's inclusion on the list, given its key role in fighting the Islamic State group.
has erupted in a fiery show of lava in eastern Sicily. The eruptions can be seen from nearby towns of Catania and the resort town of Taormina. And although volcanic ash clouds can cause flight disruptions, the nearby Catania airport was operating on a normal schedule on Tuesday. And as of now, no danger exists to the towns that dot the mountain slopes. While it seems to be such an extreme natural event, it appears that in Sicily, it's just business as usual.
On what may have killed several sharks that have washed up on our beaches. 10 News reporter Bree Stephan is live, and Bree, you've been talking to experts who have two theories now on how they died.
That's right, Kim, and those sharks right here on the beach, catching many people walking their dogs here off guard and leaving all of them wondering how they died. I kind of saw an outline and I was like, that looks like a shark. The last thing Charlie thought she'd see at Dog Beach. No, this is very strange. It got stranger as she got closer, and I look over and I see a second one, and I say, wow, there's two of these. Look again, there's a third, and then I end up seeing a fourth. 4 leopard sharks dead on the beach. She couldn't believe it and took these pictures. Yeah, very shocking, very surprising. Birch Aquarium says it's not the first time sharks have washed up in this area after a big storm. While they can't pinpoint the exact cause of death yet, they say it's likely because of pollution or the sudden rush of fresh water from the rain that causes oxygen concentrations in the water to drop, basically suffocating the sharks. Charlie says neither reason is comforting. As a surfer, I want to know if it's the pollution. And what's sad is that the leopard sharks are super friendly. They're really nice. They won't hurt you. She was also shocked by the trash that washed up with the sharks and hopes her pictures remind everyone to take care of the ocean and the creatures in it.
I'm standing in front of one of scores of emergency water outlets that have been set up.
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a
Oh,
colleague.
they're going to force name. Y'all see this? Why the news don't ever report on natural disasters? So funny. Just the weather.
Around the Chilean capital, where drinking water has been cut. People, as you can see, are standing in line with anything they can get their hands on, any kind of a container at all, because of mudslides that took place in the Andes Mountains region just above the capital, and which supplies the city with water. This was contaminated, and it's made it impossible for the water board to turn the water back on again until further notice. This following freakish summer rains. It's been one thing after another, from the inferno to a heat wave, unprecedented forest fires, and now the deluge. The worst hit area was literally on fire just a week ago. Now some 19 people are missing and feared dead because of the sudden floods in the mountains, where thousands of tourists were camping out on the last weekend of the summer holidays here.
We can't go to work. People are respecting the queues for now, but people can start getting restless, you know.
Something is always happening to us. Earthquakes, forest fires, which have been ferocious, and now this. But we always face these adversities together.
Authorities say water supplies will slowly be reestablished, but only if the weather cooperates. More rain in the Andes could trigger more mudslides. And if that weren't bad enough, a new heat wave is expected to hit Santiago and last at least until Wednesday, making life even more miserable for residents here who have no running water. People, in fact, are beginning to lose patience and are getting angry and are pointing the finger at the Spanish-run water company, which they say has not invested enough in emergency services.
Now, initial jobless claims coming in at 223,000. That was lower than estimated and lower than the week before. So 223,000 individuals filed for initial jobless claims last week. That is about a fall about 19,000 better than estimated. I'm used to having the jobs report, guys, tomorrow, and I'm not used to having to wait another week and a half to see. But nonetheless, the idea of a firmer job story continues. Lyra Brandon saying that yesterday, that we're nearly at full employment. A big statement for that Uber dev, John.
You mean the payrolls is like muscle memory for you every month? It goes that far.
And tomorrow we get the official.
The arrest of a woman in Mississippi raising questions about President Trump's claims that he's only targeting the bad ones in his immigration crackdown. So after her father and brother were picked up by immigration agents, Daniela Vargas made a public statement on their behalf. But wait till you hear what happened next.
Today, my father and brother await deportation, while I continue to fight this battle as a dreamer, to help contribute to this country, which I feel that is very much my country.
Well, moments later, after that, Vargas herself was arrested. And now she faces deportation. She was brought to the U.S. from Argentina as a child and was granted temporary legal status by DACA, or something that deferred action for childhood arrivals. Immigration officials say her arrest complies with federal law.
تقدم جيد. المقاومة عنيفة وشرسة لأنهم يدافعون عن هذا الخط وهو الخط في اعتقادنا الخط الرئيسي لهم. إذا انهاروا في هذا الخط وإن شاء الله هم منهارين فأعتقد بقية الأحياء يسهل القتال بهم.
اليوم باشرت قواتنا بالتقدم باتجاه من المأمون باتجاه منطقة المنصور. العدو كان شرس بصورة كلش قوية، لكن الحمد لله كسرنا. هذا الشارع، هاي العمارات، هاي نهاية منطقة المنصور، منطقة المأمون. باقي لنا بس شارع السايدين، راح نعبرهن، راح نباشر باقتحام منطقة المنصور.
The Department of Homeland Security is now working with Jewish communities following a recent rash of anti-Semitic incidents across the country. Laura Engel is live from the New York City newsroom to tell us the latest. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Shannon. Well, Homeland Security Secretary John F. Kelly has announced that his department is ready to offer up security assessments for Jewish community centers facing these increased threats across the U.S. we've been seeing. Now, as we've reported, there have been multiple waves of bombs.
Yeah. Why is it that in the midst of everything that's going on with us in our country, do the Jewish steal the show? We got landslides, we got everything. And this is the story that we get. And I am Hebrew, of Hebrew descent.
Threats called into.
So I am not those that call themselves Jews, that are not. Okay?
Jewish day schools, community centers, and offices across the country since January. Now, Secretary Kelly said yesterday that the Department of Homeland Security will work with Jewish communities in a variety of ways, releasing a statement which reads in part, DHS has protective security advisors, or PSAs, in all 50 states who serve as liaisons to government, industry, and community leaders, and who provide expertise on protective measures, threat reporting, and security awareness. Now, the DHS also says community centers can take active shooter and bomb prevention training. In fact, over the past 18 months, DHS has conducted workshops with JCCs in San Francisco, Cherry Hill, New Jersey, and Miami, for example, with more sessions planned in Ohio, North Carolina, and Philadelphia. The need for action making it into President Donald Trump's address to Congress Tuesday night.
Recent threats targeting Jewish community centers and vandalism of Jewish cemeteries, as well as last week's shooting in Kansas City, remind us that while we may be a nation divided in policies, we are a country that stands united in condemning hate and evil in all of its very ugly forms.
And as federal officials work to assist local JCCs, many communities are also taking proactive steps to ramp up their own security and gathering local leaders together to come up with ways to protect people and prevent these incidents from first place. Shannon.
All right, Laura Engel, thank you very much.
The clip that aired on MSNBC's Morning Joe on Thursday, Attorney General Jeff Sessions denied having met with Russian officials to discuss Donald Trump's presidential campaign, despite allegations that appeared in a Washington Post story published late Wednesday night. Sessions says, "I have not met with any Russians at any time to discuss any political campaign." Sessions vowed to rescue himself from any potential investigations.
Devin, reporting on what is happening in Central California here, specifically around Fresno. You can see here by this satellite radar composite that the groundwater that has come through this area and been sucked out, and then all the drought has caused the ground and the earth to collapse. They're saying that it is sinking as much as 2 feet in some areas within the past 2 years. Now here recently we've seen torrential downpours and a lot of rain come through the area, flooding certain parts. That doesn't fix the issue at the moment when some of these aquifers have been drained and some of them have been filled with chemicals because of fracking. It's caused them to have to readjust everything they're doing around fracking and around some of these aquifers because the earth is changing big time. This isn't just from normal weather. This is from sucking all the natural resources out of the ground, depleting these aquifers, and then them not getting replenished. Therefore, things are starting to collapse, fall in, and this is happening more and more and more in this area. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how some of these areas that are brittle, so to speak, and that are caving in and collapsing, how they will hold up under a lot of water weight on top of it, say like flooding and everything else. Will it erode a lot of these places away since they're low-lying areas? Yet to be seen. We'll have to see what happens this spring with the weather as it comes through here. One thing's for sure, the landscape changing here, sinking 1 to 2 feet per year, they're saying. Something to pay attention to out here in California. I will continue to update with more information as I come across it. We have yet another individual that has jumped to their death, this time in Manhattan, and it is a prominent hedge fund trader by the name of Kevin Bell. He most recently headed the credit risk at Arrowgrass Capital. They're saying that he jumped from the 9th floor kitchen window at this Apthorpe building on the West End Avenue near West 79th Street around 7:20 a.m. yesterday, and he landed on the scaffolding that was set up in front of the building. They said that he was pronounced dead at the scene. Now, they're also stating that Bell left a note indicating that he had been depressed, but he never left a reason for jumping and for taking his own life, if that's exactly what happened. You've heard these stories. I mean, this guy was a graduate of Duke University. He worked at Arrowgrass Capital Partners, where he was head of credit risk. Now, they manage $4.5 billion worth of assets. So, why this guy took his life will remain a mystery at this point. Let's just hope there's not something more to it. We've seen some very suspicious events like this in the past. I will continue to update on the situation as I come across more information. And if you guys have anything connected to this or anything like this that you want to get out there, let me know, dabu7yahoo.com. And also make sure you're following me on Twitter for the latest updates. And some of you may recall a story I put out here recently in regards to ammunition being stolen from an ammo plant. They shut the place down. They thoroughly inspected every single person that was in the place. They never did come up with what was stolen. Now, there was a place up in the Pacific Northwest, I believe, maybe Oregon it was, that they had a situation where stuff was stolen as well. And now, out of Indianapolis, in Indiana, we have explosives stolen as well. And the ATF is saying that they're putting out a reward here if any of these leads can lead to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the theft of these explosive materials. from a Martin Marietta mining facility in Kokomo, Indiana. They're offering this $5,000 reward. They're saying sometime between February 7th and February 16th, a person or persons burglarized an underground explosives magazine at the Martin Marietta mining facility in Kokomo, stealing the explosive materials. Or if you hear a crazy video clip of an individual in Brazil that arrived at a hospital in this zombie-like condition, not even slowing down when he was shot in the face. This video is from the hospital in Brazil. The language that they are speaking is in Portuguese. Now, they say they have not been able to identify any drugs in the system of the people that are coming in like this. Apparently, there's more than just this man. The one thing they are saying is that their white blood cell count is said to be astronomical, indicating that the bodies are fighting off an infection. Now, this story originally posted over here at Superstation 95. If anything checks out to be different on this, I will update. But right now, the clip itself is crazy. Whether the guy had some other condition we come to find out or anything else, regardless of what it is, this guy is acting crazy. And a shot to the face didn't even fade him. Check this out.
Pai nosso que está no céu, santificado seja o vosso nome. Venha a nós o vosso reino. Seja feita a vossa vontade. Assim na terra como no céu.
Look how he's walking.
Perdoa as nossas ofensas, assim como nós perdoamos nossos pecadores. Não nos deixeis cair em tentação, mas livrai do mal. Amém. Você não é poderoso. Você não é poderoso. Jesus, Deus fazia. Deus é maior do que tudo. Você não é poderoso. Deus é maior. Jesus Cristo. Conhece a Bíblia melhor do que você. Vou te falar aqui. Embate, eu vou te fazer. Deixa o seu embate. Você é do mal. Embate. Você não é. Vai. Isso. Sai. Qual é o que tá aí? Qual é o que tá aí? Fala aí. Músico. Não tá incorporado com o santo, né? Não tá incorporado com o santo. Quero ver se o santo vai segurar a tua vida aí. Quero ver. Ele vai bater não, porque Deus é maior. Meu cavalo tá ali na frente, tá trabalhando. Meu cavalo trouxe meu cavalo até aqui. Eu não vou fazer nada com vocês. Só não quero que encoste no meu cavalo. Deus está inocente. Ele é inocente, está indo sobre a covardia.
As you can see, this man was still talking, but his body is in this weird state, and where he's leaning hunched back with his arms flexed. Just a crazy clip.
New this morning, a woman manages to fight off a man during a violent attempted carjacking in the Ukrainian Village neighborhood.
And police do have a clue that they hope will help find the suspect. CBS 2's Susanna Song is live along Chicago and Damon, where that happened. Good morning, Susanna.
Good morning, Lionel. Police believe this was a case of attempted carjacking. A man opens a woman's car and attacks her. It happened behind me near the intersection of Damon and Chicago on the border of Ukrainian Village and West Town. Now, the woman told police she didn't know him. He randomly approached her car and forced his way inside. The victim told police he grabbed her by the chest, then pushed her down in a forceful manner. She was able to fight him off and push him out of the car. This is the man believed to have attacked her back on February 15th. Take a good look at these pictures pulled from a bus surveillance camera. Police say he hopped on a westbound Chicago Avenue CTA bus and exited at Kedzie. He was last seen walking north on Kedzie. If you do recognize that man, you are urged to call Chicago police. At this time, Area Central Police detectives are investigating. Live in Ukrainian Village, Susanna Song, CBS 2 News.
All right, Susanna, thank you.
This morning, people in Ottawa and nameplate trying to...
Did y'all notice how when the man truck jumped, it was in New Orleans, he jumped and flew, they didn't disclose the race of that man. But all the melanated people, they disclosed the race.
Recover from two devastating tornadoes that killed two men. Hundreds of homes were damaged and destroyed.
CBS 2's Mike Puccinelli is live in Nameplate where the cleanup will be very difficult. Hi, Mike.
Hi, we are about 85 miles southwest of the loop right now. As I step out of the way, now that we have the sun up, you can really get a good sense of the destruction here, and it is incredibly impressive. This small village of just over 600 people really took a direct hit. People who on Tuesday all managed to survive a tornado packing more than 150-mile-an-hour winds. Now, the first tornado to ever hit Naples was a real monster of a storm, but amazingly, no lives were lost in this normally quiet village. But quite a few livelihoods were wiped out when the EF3 tornado barreled into town around 40:45 Tuesday afternoon. By the time the twister finished churning through the village, many homes were obliterated. The Dutton family rode out the storm in a small bathroom. During that time, their home was literally ripped apart around them. Their van was picked up and tossed into the backyard. Nicole O'Shea saw what happened to her neighbors and offered the Duttons and their dog a place to stay for as long as they need it.
In times like this, it makes you really appreciate every little thing. It's an amazing feeling to know you're safe.
And I wanted to turn your attention to this bit of flashing here. You can see how it's twisted up, kind of almost in a circular fashion. That's definitely an indication of the tornadic activity that roared through here. Behind me, you can see just a couple vehicles that were blown over here. Another vehicle over here that was also heavily damaged and blown. Obviously, it wasn't parked in that direction. And behind it, you can see part of a plant that lost a lot of windows. And it appears that a lot of the roofing material was ripped away as well. Obviously, much of it littering the parking lot right here. There's literally roofing material all over the place. And this is the situation all over this tiny village along the Illinois River.
And terrifying moments of an inmate trying to choke a deputy with a towel. And this chilling surveillance video shows the moment that the felon in a Tampa, Florida jail comes up behind, wrapping the towel around his throat. Thankfully, the deputy quickly escapes before other inmates and deputies jumped in to help take that inmate down. And the inmate now facing a new charge, of course, of assaulting a law enforcement officer.
Breaking. President Trump reviews U.S. membership of corrupt United Nations. Who could have predicted this unbelievable situation? President Trump has confirmed that he's officially reviewing the United States' participation in the corrupt, quote-unquote, United Nations Human Rights Council. The Trump administration warned Wednesday that it would look seriously at whether it is in the interest of the United States to continue dealing with an international body who seems to be, quote, obsessed with Israel, end quote. Erin Barlassi, U.S. Deputy Assistant Secretary of State, blasted the council in Switzerland earlier this week, saying that the U.S. was reconsidering its relationship with the organization. Quote, the United States remains deeply troubled by the council's consistent, unfair, and unbalanced focus on the democratic country of Israel. No other nation is the focus of an entire agenda item. How is that a sensible priority, end quote. Barclay also questioned why the council was not taking action on other international matters.
The United States will reportedly deploy some of its most advanced fighter jets to South Korea to take part in joint military exercises sometime before the end of April. It would be the first time the F-35B has been used in the full Eagle drill. Our Kim Yeon-bin tells us what we can expect.
The United States is planning to deploy an unspecified number of F-35B fighter jets to take part in the joint military drills between South Korea and the U.S. A source within the Korean military told Seoul-based Yonhap news agency that the jets will come before the drills wrap up, but did not specify a date. The stealth jets, which have never been deployed to South Korea before for the annual exercises, will conduct precise strike drills during their deployment. The F-35B, which can fly at supersonic speed, is capable of pulling off short takeoffs and vertical landings. The news of the jet deployment comes as the Allies kicked off their annual Full Eagle exercise on Wednesday. Responding to the start of the drills, North Korea has vowed to take its toughest military action against South Korea and the U.S. The North Korean Army condemned the exercise as a rehearsal for a northern invasion. Pyongyang normally responds angrily at the commencement of the drills. South Korea's defense ministry says the annual exercises are routine and defensive, but warned that Seoul and Washington are ready to counter any threats from the regime.
The joint drills, which are purely defensive, are aimed at better preparing for a crisis on the peninsula. If North Korea decides to provoke, We will counter strongly to protect our citizens.
Experts have warned that North Korea could conduct a large-scale provocation during the drills, which will run for the next 2 months.
The Federal Communications Commission is delaying new internet privacy rules that were supposed to take effect today. Those regulations were approved by the Obama administration last year. They would have limited how internet providers use and sell customer data. The rules would also have given consumers the right to stop those companies from sharing personal information with advertisers and other third parties. We reached out to Verizon, Comcast, and Time Warner. They did not respond to a request for comment. CBS News contributor Nicholas Thompson is editor-in-chief of Wired, and he joins us. Nick, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, what kind of data are we talking about here? What do these companies have?
They have everything, right? So the companies that underlie the internet, so AT&T, Verizon, Comcast, they know exactly what sites you're on. Because you're connecting with them on your cell devices, they know exactly where you are. So AT&T knows what room I'm in right now. They know everything I browse in the green room. They know basically everything I type onto the internet. So what the FCC had done, those previous regulations, is they had said, well, if the broadband companies are going to sell that information, you think they're going to sell your health information or information about kids, they need to ask you. And that was the proposal, and that was what was going to go into effect today. And that was pretty strong privacy protection. The new FCC said, let's not do that. Why, Nick, why? Well, their argument would be we need consistent privacy regulations across the internet. We should not regulate AT&T, Verizon, and Comcast differently from the way we regulate, say, Facebook and Google. We should not have weak regulations from the FCC.
And they can sell your information.
They can sell you. They have weak privacy regulations governed by the FTC. There are going to be strong privacy regulations governed by the FCC. Now, someone could counter and say, hey, well, why don't we have strong regulations everywhere instead of getting rid of the one place they're strong? The other reason is that the FCC traditionally has worked very closely with the telecom companies. It has seen their constituents not as the American people, but as the broadband companies. And that is a traditional problem, and it appears as though that may be a problem with the new FCC.
Do you think people realize how invasive the information? Do you think they know how invasive the companies are in getting our information?
No, I don't.
And why should we care about the information that they get?
Well, that's interesting, right? I think people have no idea the depth of the information that these companies have. They have everything, and our whole lives are online now. Everything about us we search in some way. Something feels wrong in our bodies, we type it into Google. The companies have that. But then the second part of your question, like, are bad things really going to happen if they have it?
Yeah.
Well, we've had weak privacy regulations for a long time, and the sky hasn't fallen. Nothing terribly invasive has been done to me. So there is an argument you can make that actually it's more or less okay.
So why do they want the information then? Why do they want it?
Well, they want to sell it, right? If they know that I've been looking for headaches and that they know that I've just bought a plane ticket or a bus ticket to Providence, they're going to try to sell me an ad for Advil at a store in Providence, right?
Yeah.
And if you get deeper...
I've been searching for jumpsuits lately, and I get all these things with jump. Yeah, there's just come to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just show up. So, I mean, should I be concerned about this?
I think you should be concerned. I thought we finally made a good step to protect people's privacy. I think fundamentally, the information that, well, what you type and what you do online is your information.
Yes.
And if a company wants to sell it, they should ask you for it, and they should pay
you for it, yes.
And that was what would have happened had these regulations gone into effect. The broadband companies would have had to say to you, hey, we'll give you a few extra dollars, we'll cut your bill if you let us sell your privacy information. And you could have agreed or you could not have agreed. Now, we've gotten rid of what I thought was one of the best steps to protect us online.
Okay, here's the statement. The FCC handles internet service providers while the FTC is responsible for the websites. And here's a joint statement. They believe the best way to protect consumer privacy is, quote, through a comprehensive and consistent framework.
Sure, comprehensive and consistent framework. Yeah. Yes, I would like a comprehensive and consistent, strong framework. We're heading towards a comprehensive and consistent weak or nothing framework.
All right, Nick Thompson, thank you.
It's good to have you here.
The Democratic People's Republic of Korea has condemned a joint military drill currently taking place between South Korea and the United States. The full legal war game started on Wednesday. In addition to large numbers of troops, the U.S. has also sent strategic assets, such as the USS Carl Vinson aircraft carrier and nuclear-powered submarines. The THAAD anti-missile system, which the two countries decided to deploy in South Korea's Seongju County, was included on the drill agenda for the first time. However, Pyongyang has warned of retaliation.
As the U.S. imperialists and South Korean forces again started dangerous nuclear war drills against us, our army will counter them with the toughest counteraction, as it has already declared.
The Vatican faces new fallout this morning over the clergy sex abuse scandal. A founding member of a commission set up 3 years ago to protect minors from sexual abuse in the Catholic Church has now quit. She accuses the Vatican of stonewalling efforts by the panel set up by Pope Francis. Seth Doan is in Rome, just outside Vatican City, with how the controversy is putting a harsh light on church insiders. Seth, good morning.
Good morning. This is a very public blow to the Vatican on a very sensitive issue. At the core, a woman who is a victim of church sex abuse who says there is a cultural resistance to change here at the Vatican.
It was better for me to come out and be able to speak about it, because these men, they thrive on silence and cover up.
Mary Collins, who was sexually abused by a priest as a teenager, tired of what she called constant setbacks in her work on a panel set up by Pope Francis to protect minors from sex abuse. We spoke with her this morning at her home in Dublin, Ireland.
To find that there's still a group of men in this level in the church who do not see child protection as a priority, that do not get it in 2017. It's just unacceptable.
In her resignation letter, Collins wrote she believes the Pope is sincere in his efforts, but the resistance by some members of the Vatican Curia, or church administration, has been shameful.
Sometimes I feel the Pope does make mistakes. He's badly advised, but you're dependent in opposition, I think, on those around you for advice.
She's bringing up good issues. Monsignor Anthony Figueiredo is a CBS News consultant. What Americans are going to hear in all of this is the Catholic Church still is not serious about dealing with this issue of sex abuse.
It's very, very serious. Perhaps more than any other organization in the world, the Catholic Church has taken this on board.
Boston Cardinal Sean O'Malley, who heads the commission, said in a statement, "We will certainly listen carefully to all that Mary wishes to share with us about her concerns." The only other sex abuse victim on the panel, Peter Saunders, was critical of it and forced out last year. Recently, the Pope has been criticized for being too lenient on at least one pedophile priest. Instead of defrocking him, he was removed from public ministry and Nora sentenced to a lifetime of prayer.
Questions remain. Seth Doan in Rome. Thank you.
Police in Brooklyn have released video of robbery suspects caught on surveillance cameras. They say the two struck in Brownsville at a deli there on Sutter Avenue just before 5 p.m. yesterday. You can see one brandishing a gun, demanding money from a store clerk. They were also captured by surveillance cameras in the neighborhood. The clerk handed over $550, and the two fled south on Van Dyke Street. Police are hoping someone can identify the two suspects.
Clear.
Dangerous hazing incident is going viral this morning. A mom says somebody smeared peanut butter all over her son's face. The problem is he is severely allergic. Take a look at these pictures that she posted online yesterday. That's her son's swollen face there. She actually just found out about this incident. It happened last fall at Central Michigan University. The university is now investigating. They do say that they banned this particular fraternity back in 2011 for hazing, but apparently it's still operating off campus. The family's attorney is also holding a news conference about the event later today.
The United States could double the anti-dumping duty on a Korean-made steel product. If the decision is made, it will be the first anti-dumping duty under the Donald Trump administration. Woo Jung-hee takes a closer look.
The first anti-dumping duties imposed under the Trump administration look like they'll target Korean products. The U.S. Department of Commerce announced on Tuesday its final recommendation for anti-dumping duties on Korean phosphorus copper of 8.43%. That's over twice the department's preliminary assessment of 3.79%. This comes a year after American steelmaker Metallurgical Products Company filed a petition with the U.S. government in March of last year, saying Korean phosphorus copper was priced at well below fair market value. The case now moves over to the U.S. International Trade Commission, which is investigating whether Korea's actions caused material damage to U.S. industry. It's expected to announce the results in April. If the agency finds the U.S. market was harmed, it'll impose a 5-year anti-dumping tariff of 8.43%.
With regard to the Trump administration's trade policies, Korea has been more focused on a possible renegotiation of the Korea-U.S. Free Trade Agreement or designation of Korea as a currency manipulator. But for the U.S., trade regulations like anti-dumping duties are much easier to implement. And actually, things started with the Obama administration when it reformed its Trade Preferences Extension Act in 2015. With the global economy in a slump, I'd expect the U.S. to devise additional trade regulations.
The expert said that because Korea sees a relatively high profit for its U.S. exports of automobiles, steel, and textiles, the Korean government will have to keep an eye on U.S. trade policy and come up with ways to respond. 오정희 발령뉴스.
Had this rage in his eyes, his rage like he hit with all he got.
This woman, who declined to give her name, describes the man who attacked and robbed her Tuesday evening at 5:30. Her account helped police develop this sketch of the suspect. She says he was waiting in a parked car along Harrow Street near 71st Avenue, and once he saw her walking alone, he struck without saying a word.
He came out and just ran straight up to me and started screaming and waving his, whatever he had, his weapon, his left hand.
She now has 6 stitches in the right side of her head where she was hit 3 times. What she describes as a long metal object. She came to on the sidewalk, terrified he'd be standing over her.
It took me a few minutes, and then I started to gain conscious, but I did not get up right away because I wasn't sure he was still there.
The attacker was gone, with him her purse, credit cards, and her sense of security.
I don't feel safe anymore in that area, not in that location.
Police say this isn't the first time he struck in the Forest Hills neighborhood. Detectives say he was caught on surveillance video running from the scene of another attack back in January. He targets women walking alone. The victims' ages 63, 82, and 53. In each case, he knocks the victim unconscious by hitting them in the head, either with a blunt object or a closed fist. His latest victim concerned this man's vicious pattern will continue.
I don't feel safe because I don't know who can be his next victim, you know. He might take another street or another road.
Now, the victim we spoke to says that man was seen leaving a blue 4-door sedan, possibly a Crown Victoria. Police say that this man in each case was seen wearing a dark-colored hoodie. No arrests.
Alright, y'all. I am so sleepy. Well, I'm going to get out of here. May or may not post this whole thing, but I was still here in the background, y'all. I ain't went nowhere. Alright, peace and power to everyone, and I'm out of here.